Hello. Oh my god. Hello. Oh my gosh, I look crazy. Hi guys. Hold on, I need to fix the camera. Sorry, I had to set up another video, so I hope you guys can all make it to this one. Sorry, I should put that up slightly. Oh, there is a bit of a thing with my glasses. There we go. If I look down, it might be okay. I'll just wait for a minute so people can join. Oh my god, this is like curly girl hair problems. Like, even when you straighten your hair, it wants to be curly. Hello. Has everyone figured out to come to this video? Sorry guys, technical difficulties. We live in the middle of the countryside, and yeah, we've just been having a few problems with our internet. So I don't look so. Oh my god, I'll be disheveled. I'm like on soccer mum duty today. So oh dear, everything's shaking. I've got my tea, by the way. I love how everyone in the chat was like, I think she's probably gone to get a cup of tea. Apparently I'm world's greatest dad today, but I couldn't find my mummy mug, so hi, ¿cómo está? Did I say that right, Mimsy? Driving and heading to the gym. Oh my god, take me to the gym with you. My bestie likes to listen to my live streams, who is Jimmy, Jimmy really wanted me to mention him. Also, I have multiple besties before my besties will come for me. But yeah, Jimmy likes to listen to me at the gym. So this could be like a new thing. You guys could just, put your headset on and oh my god, I think I just got a message from Jimmy. Is he watching? That's so funny. He got upset with me when I was talking about my OG fans. And he's talking about something else. Right. He's probably going to watch this later. But anyway, I just wanted to say he really wanted me to mention that he is my biggest fan. And yeah, I do appreciate him. And I appreciate all my lovely friends. Guys, I always talk about like especially when you're an ex-Muslim, but just generally in life, like you need your people. And like I kind of, yeah, do you know what? We had a really big bonding experience over, oh my god, why is this such a, I don't know how to, the glare is a bit intense. Maybe if I don't know how to stand or sit even. Sorry guys, there might just have to be a glare so I can see. Or should I just take it off? Then I'll do a lot of this, but maybe I should just do that. I'll just be like, all right, I'm just going to squint, guys. It's going to happen. Anyway, yeah, I was just going to say it's really important to find your people because life is hard and there's so many ups and downs. And I feel like I've had a lot of difficulties. I think my hardest points in my life were probably my childhood, and then around the time, well, it's difficult to like put them all into, but yeah, so different things. And then around the time that if anyone doesn't know, I had like this massive mental breakdown before I started YouTube, actually. So that was a really hard point. And then I kind of felt like after that mental breakdown is when I actually went into the world of mental health and became a counselor and a coach. And that's what really kind of opened up my eyes to a whole other world. But also I had like dips of moments, like for example, when I was just about to have a baby, I was really worried because if anyone doesn't know, I didn't really have a good relationship with my own mum. And I was raised by a single dad. And I was really scared about being a mum. And that was like a big deal for me. But obviously I've got the most amazing, supportive, beautiful human being that I'm married to, which is my husband. But also, by the way, can you guys hear me okay? But also, these friends like that came into my life, like, Jimmy Bangash and Zara K and Ali Malik, and Kieran Noah's. Honestly, they're amazing. And I just don't know what I'd do without them. And like, even just like my like friend Zara and her boyfriend literally flew from Sweden for my son's birthday party. And I was like, this is love, guys. This is love. But yeah, I just think anyway, I'm kind of going on a rant, which has nothing to do with this live stream, but Jimmy was just making a joke, as he does. If anyone knows Jimmy, what he's like, but he was just like, you didn't mention me in your live stream, and I'm like your biggest fan. So apparently he was a really big fan of mine before we became friends, which is really funny. But yeah, so honestly, guys, your people is everything. They will help you through. Like, no one has got their shit together completely 100% of the time. You can have your shit together for like a good 90%, 80%. That's if you're like really, you know your stuff, you've gone through therapy, you've gone through all the journey. But like, whenever you have those dips of like scary situations or a new situation, having your people and that support is like, there's nothing like it. And I just really appreciate the people in my life, those people that I've mentioned, and my siblings as well. And yeah, I would say those are the core people, and obviously, and my husband. So yeah, those people got me through a lot. So anywho, moving on. Hi, people. I hope you guys have made it over here. Sorry about the delay. I asked you guys, what should we do a live stream on? And I kind of wanted to do something like something new, something hip. No, I'm joking, something different. And then everyone's like, leaving Islam. Like, really? Okay. I guess that's what my channel has been about primarily. So I guess everyone wants us to be talking about it still. So hi guys. Sorry, I don't know what language I'm speaking in right now, but okay. Oh, I've already got some questions. Okay. Okay, well, let me see those questions, and then I'll get to the questions that I got from Instagram. Okay. So what was that first one I saw? If you could, sorry, I don't have my glasses, so now I'm doing this. If you could magically make any current Muslim an ex-Muslim, who do you pick? That's a funny question. That's a really interesting question. Ooh, someone like really, what would be really helpful for the ex-Muslim movement would be someone really prominent, like a big sheikh, like a Hamza Yusuf kind of guy, or like, but to be fair, I feel like a lot of Muslims already disregard him because he's Sufi. They're already like, well, he's not even a real Muslim. Yeah, but somebody, I don't know who, to be honest, there's not a great answer, but somebody, I would just say somebody really prominent in the Muslim world, even like Muhammad Hijab or like Ali Dawah. That would be insane, right? Wouldn't that be funny? So, hello. Why did you name yourself after the South Park character? I didn't, and I found out after that I'd called my channel MimzyVidz that there was this like reference in South Park, and I was like, oh my god. No, Mimsy was like a nickname I had. Literally one person in my life. Now lots of people call me Mimsy, but one person called me Mimsy, and I was trying to think of all the nicknames I've had. What kind of maybe has a ring to it. But yeah, now everyone just kind of knows me as Mimsy, so that's quite funny. Big up Voodoo. How do I get out of this cult? Tell me, please. Wow. I mean, that's a big question. So what do you mean in terms of like, what's your situation? Do you already consider yourself an ex-Muslim? And are you trying to like escape your family? Like, what's the dealio? What's the sitch? Question, where's Voodoo? Where is Voodoo? Like, where is he right now? Like, he's downstairs. I don't know what you mean. I'm joking. Do you mean on the internet? Honestly, we spend a lot of our time, like our time, I guess, either with the kids, or doing rain coaching. So if anyone doesn't know, my husband MimzyVidz is also a life coach. He primarily worked like with companies. So he was kind of like a corporate life coach. He would come into a company and like change all the systems and everything they were doing, but also help the employees to be better at their job. And he would tailor that to whatever their needs were, basically. So he very much comes from like a life coaching world as well. And now we've kind of joined our sort of specialities, and we have Wayne Coaching, which is our organization essentially. So that keeps us really busy. So yeah, it's hard doing kind of a lot of things, you know, especially with kids. I think when the kids are a little bit older, I think we kind of juggle a bit more. But our priority will always be our kids. So that's why you don't see as much of us. Or Mo Saleh. Who's Mo Saleh again? I feel like I know who that is. Is that guy? Is he like Yemeni? The Yemeni guy? I think I know who you're talking about. Since when did you become the world's greatest dad? I know, right? I've changed my pronouns, guys. Listen, I just grabbed the first mug that I could find. Can you tell us a bit more about your new venture, life coaching? Oh, of course. Let me just take a sip of tea. Also, I love you guys. I love you guys, the ones that know me. I feel so, it's weird. Do you know, sometimes, like, I remember watching YouTube videos, and like when YouTubers would be like, I love you guys, I'd be like, yeah, right. But like now I kind of get it. Like there's this weird connection you have with people that regularly like interact with you even online. It's really strange. It's like I don't know you guys, but I kind of feel, I don't know, I feel the energy, you know? Anyways, sidetracked again. So essentially the main thing that we're doing at the moment is our big workshop. So yes, I am a counselor and a life coach. I really love the life coaching, to be honest with you. So that's kind of more of what we do. You know, counseling is very structured, and there are very sort of rigid rules on, you know, counseling and general therapy, that kind of weekly therapy that you guys might be used to. That's nice if you just kind of want to like have a vent, like a regular vent, which I do as well, with a few people still. But over the years, you know, I've been doing it for a long time now. I know I don't look that old, but I'm kidding. But you know, I've been doing it for a long time, and I found that actually the structure that you can give to people as a life coach. So life coaches are a little bit more kind of like, okay, this is your trauma, this is your past, this is what's been holding you back. We break that down, we understand it, but then we create a roadmap. And that roadmap is what a life coach does, and not necessarily a counselor in the same way. And that's what I think is so helpful. And I found that really helpful. And I was seeking that for such a long time. Like, okay, now I understand everything that's happened to me and why I've been thinking this way and feeling this way. But now what? You know? And so the way that we kind of help people is that we give them a structure to their literal life. Obviously, we tailor it to you and your life and what you can do and what you want to do and what your goals are, your ambitions, who you want to be, all that stuff. We kind of actually break it down. It's very, very structured. So it's hard to describe to you, because the workshop is 6 hours over 2 days. And we literally break down every part of your life. It's so detailed and it's so intense. And everyone that's done it feels like it's like 20 years of therapy just in these like 6 hours. So it's very intensive, but you come out of it being like, oh, now I know which direction to go in. Now I know who I want to be. Now I know so much about myself. But the main thing is it saves you that time as well. Like the time that you would have had doing therapy, like week by week by week, over maybe the same amount of breakthroughs you could maybe have in a year, sometimes 2 years, depends on your circumstance. So we really kind of, you know, solidify those things for you in such a short amount of time, which is really helpful. So that's to answer the question about the coaching. Oh gosh, I don't know if I'm going to get through this. Should I start on these and then okay, let me just quickly, while there's not a lot of people here, let me just quickly go on Instagram, because I've got a lot of questions from Instagram, and I did, to be fair, ask one. By the way, if you don't follow me on Instagram, please do. So actually, one of the questions I got kind of goes in line with what I just said about what we do. And I really think that this person that asked the question, you know who you are out there, I won't say your name, this would be really helpful for you. And I've seen a few of your questions before. I do remember you. And I know, hold on, I've got something come up on my screen. Why does it do that? I do remember you. Thank you for always kind of asking questions and being interactive. Again, I don't want to say your name, but I think it'd be really important. I think it'd be really good to have a chat, actually. So this was her question. How would I know what I believe and what I want? Which you have to kind of think over for a minute. So how would I know what I believe? So it's almost like this feeling of feeling like I don't know what to believe anymore. And it sounded to me, and I don't know because I haven't actually spoken to her, but it sounded to me almost like this. A lot of Muslims have this feeling when they leave Islam, is they feel like they need something else, like they have to replace whatever Islam was giving them with something else. And I think it's okay to do that in terms of like maybe like community and like friendships or whatever. But I don't know if you need to replace it in the same sort of way as like a belief system necessarily. I think that there's something beautiful in the comfort of just kind of going on your own journey and finding, you know, what kind of fits with you, rather than quickly kind of like, oh my God, so now what do I believe about death? Let me try and solve this problem, like, you know, like in this sort of panic. So I'm wondering if there's a little bit of that, but I'm very familiar, and I talk about this in my webinar, which I'll talk more about. But in my webinar, I literally give an example of different sort of toxic families, basically, and different setups of that children are brought up in that cause problems later in their lives. And one of them is when your parents are so involved and there's no boundaries, like as in like I tell my child what to wear, what she can do, if she can listen to this, if she can watch that. And I'm not talking about like a 3-year-old. I'm talking like even when they're an adult child, you're like, the parents are still so involved with what that child does, where that child goes, with everything. And I know a lot of brown families are very familiar with that, right? But what that does is it kind of leaves the people with a sense of like, well, who am I? What do I like? I don't even know anymore. Or maybe I never knew. So yeah, there is definitely a little bit of that, it sounds like, from your question. So what we do with our workshop, which I'll mention the name, I didn't even mention it before, it's called From Survive to Thrive. And essentially in that workshop, we, you know, I kind of briefly mentioned it earlier, but it's helpful for this, you know, for many things, but for this especially, because we kind of break everything down and then we create, almost like creating a new identity from it, because we understand your trauma, what's been holding you back, what you're triggered by, you know, all the things that are kind of the negative turning points in your life that have affected you. We then go on to this point, okay, but who do you want to be? And what kind of things do you aspire for your life? And what are the goals? You know, all that stuff we map out, as I said. And that is where we go in really deep to find that in you. And so there might be things that you don't even realize. And then actually, because it's so structured, we're able to kind of bring it out because we have very specific questions. And then we look, you know, I'm not going to go through the whole way of doing it, but basically the way that we do it, we're able to actually bring it out of you, what your strengths are, you know, what the moments in your life where you were like, oh, this is my element, like this is me, you know, those moments will be able to kind of draw out of you, and that will help us to navigate who you want to be, what you want from your life, how you want your life to look. So my advice would be, let's have a conversation, because essentially that's what you need to do, is break everything down and start back up again, rebuild all that foundation. Yeah. Somebody said, how can I support somebody as a non-Muslim who is leaving Islam? That was an interesting question. So this person is a non-Muslim. They obviously have a friend who is leaving Islam. And yeah, I mean, basically, it's kind of like supporting with anything, any sort of transition, any friend that is going some sort of change in their life, whether it be like a, you know, breaking up with somebody, or like, do you know what I mean? It could be kind of similar to many aspects or many other things that happen in your life. So I would just say being that support system that they can vent to, that they can talk to, but also feeling understood. Because when you leave Islam, you feel really lonely and misunderstood as well. And you know, I don't know the whole situation of this person leaving, so I don't know what their particular struggles are, but I think finding out what their particular struggles are will, you know, just being that person that can listen as well, because that's another thing as well. It's like when you're an ex-Muslim, if you're in a family and a community that's very heavily Muslim, or very religious and cultural, it's very hard to just be heard, like really heard, not just like actually heard, but like just like, okay, this is difficult for you, this is what's going on. Yeah, so just being a supportive friend as you would. I don't think it's any different to anything else, but I think feeling like you know, as I said, feeling understood is a big thing. Sorry, I'm just reading those questions as I talk. Right, so I got a message from Apostate Aladdin, which is funny because like we've spoken like, you know, on WhatsApp. Like, so I thought that was really funny that he messaged me on Instagram. So thank you, Apostate Aladdin, if you're watching. I don't know if he is, but yeah, he asked me a really good question, which was what gives you hope for the future of ex-Muslims? Which is a really good question. So what gives me hope? Let me take a sip. Hold on. I like to drink my tea while it's hot, and it goes really cold really quickly. So what gives me hope for ex-Muslims is where we bloody are right now. I mean, 20 years ago, this wasn't a thing. Like, you know, the internet has created this space, and I think my dad was one of the very first people on YouTube actually that really was talking about this and making ex-Muslim videos. I'm pretty sure he was like the pioneer on YouTube. So I'm very proud of him for that. Although I wasn't at the time. At the time I was like, but yeah, so no, he definitely started that on YouTube. And I really think now, that was what, 10 years ago, more than 10, 15 years ago, something like that. I don't even know, 10, 15 years ago. But now look how many ex-Muslims are on the internet. All like, we're so diverse in how we do things, and but also just the term ex-Muslim is just well known. Like before, it wasn't a thing. Like nobody knew what do you mean ex-Muslim? Like, I feel like it, you know, definitely you get that still, but there is so much more people in the know, especially people that are online and kind of in the online spaces, social media, all that jazz. So I just think if you look back 20 years ago, we're in a whole different place, and I just see it getting more and more. And I'm really excited. I think that we are doing what we kind of want to do, which is normalizing the discussion around Islam, normalizing the fact that people can leave. And don't get me wrong, though, there's a lot more work to be done. Like, we're definitely not at a place where it's great. It's just an improvement, right? So we're moving in the right direction. I wish it would happen quicker, but we're definitely moving in the right direction. And I do think it will continue that, just because I think more and more people are doubting as well, because of also the internet, because I think the internet allows you access to way more information than we'd had before. You know, before it was like, oh, my sheikh told me this, so I'm just going to go with that, or like my parents told me this. Whereas now it's like, let me just read it for myself, you know. And then obviously access to all the YouTube channels. So yeah, I definitely foresee good things. I feel positive about the whole ex-Muslim movement. Okay. Someone asked me a question, which I'm so sorry, but I have no clue. Thoughts on Hindu fundamentals and Muslim fundamentals? I don't really know. I don't know anything about that. I'm so sorry. So what is your view on Palestine after leaving Islam? I thought that was an interesting question about the way it was phrased, because it's after leaving Islam. And I definitely think that's a topic that I will come to your questions. Sorry, I will look on the chat in a minute. But yes, so when I was a Muslim, I was, you know, very much kind of like Jews bad, Israel evil, and Muslims did nothing wrong, and you know, or as you would imagine, I think, and I think a lot of Muslims still, well, definitely a lot of Muslims feel this way. Actually, funny enough, okay, funny story, also true story. I literally had a chat with somebody who's actually like a really old friend of mine. I won't name any names, obviously, but it's just so funny to me. I was having an Israel-Palestine brief conversation, and I knew that they were somebody that I could, you know, it wouldn't get too heated. Sometimes you speak to people and they're like, I'm never going to speak to you again because of your views. And it's a bit like, come on, we can disagree. And, you know, I disagree sometimes with my best friends and with like literally the closest, you know, we could ever be. So I knew this person would be a little bit more like that. But what they were saying was really interesting to me. You know, I was kind of talking about I mean, we won't make this a whole Israel-Palestine video, by the way, but just briefly. I was saying that, you know, there were things when I was a Muslim that I didn't know about. Like I didn't know that money was given to Palestine as aid, and it was used to build a tunnel rather than feed people. I didn't know that, like, the amount of times that Israel's tried to make a treaty to try and, you know, be like, okay, can we just make some sort of agreement? And that those were denied continuously, and that Palestine are just actually refusing to accept Israel as a state. So there were things that I didn't know. It's not even that, like, I was obviously on the side of Palestine, and I think anything that I did think or hear, I just thought was like lies, because Israel are evil and Jews are evil, and that's just how I understood it, to be honest with you. And this person was like, well, you know, that Hamas had built that tunnel. Hold on, this is really funny. Hamas had built that tunnel because the Jews basically told him to do that so that the Jews could be like, look how bad Hamas is. This is why we have to continue to bomb you. So I was like, so even the bad things that Hamas has done is still Israel's fault. I was like, wow. I'm talking to a Muslim person, by the way. And I was like, this is so like, so there's like Hamas and like basically Palestine as a state, you know, political state, have done nothing wrong. Anything that they have done wrong is also Israel's fault. I was like, this is funny. And then I was having a chat with somebody else, and they were like, oh, they talked about something completely different. And they were like, yeah, all these Israelis, like they bought these companies and they're like doing this. And it's to do with like another country, not to do with Palestine. And I was like, so everything is Israel's fault. Everything is the Jews' fault. And I guess I didn't think about it too much, but I guess I kind of would have believed that, because Jews are evil, apparently, when you're Muslim. But then obviously when I left Islam, I was like, hold on, we can't think like this. You know, it can't be that black and white. It's not like good, evil. I just don't think it is that black and white. But also, I don't think, yeah, in the same way, I don't think Israel's all good. I think they fucked up in many, many ways. And I think they've done crazy shit. But I feel like what we need to do is come to some conclusion, some kind of ending, like something needs to happen. Like we're here now. You know, also something I didn't know is that there was a war. That's something I really didn't know as a Muslim, that there was an actual, like, you know, I always used to say, well, Israel took Palestine because Britain, and after the World War II, they gave it to them. Like, how is that even fair? It's not their role to do that. That shouldn't happen. Which, by the way, a lot of countries have that's happened all over the world for many countries, which it isn't good, but it's not like the only one. So I used to say that a lot. And then just happened to be when I looked more into stuff, I kind of realized, that the Jews were like, well, look, this might have happened, but let's have a war, like a battle, to kind of decide who gets the land. Which, again, I don't know if I agree with that either, to be honest with you. But I didn't know that. I didn't know that had happened. like that wasn't something that wasn't information that I'd had as a Muslim supporting Palestine, that there was like an official war that Egypt and Jordan and like they'd actually helped and supported, and Lebanon as well, and that Israel won. And then they were like, okay, cool, we've won. And they're like, nope, you haven't. Still ours. So it's tricky because the person I was talking to, I was like, they were like, you know, they came and took the land. And I was like, it's kind of like, because they're Muslim, right? So I'm like, oh, it's kind of like Pakistan, right? And they were like, well, kind of, but no. You know, how the amount of people that died in India to take that land. Anyway, I don't want this to be the Israel-Palestine conversation. But here we are. Okay, so a massive question that I got so many like comments and things of is, why did I leave Islam? And I'm like, guys, I made a video on this, but then I thought, you know what? Maybe people just don't want to go back and watch that 40-minute video. So I will summarize as well as I can, because remember that it's really hard to summarize everything. There's a lot of detail. I will try and summarize why I left Islam, essentially. But let me first just, oh, sorry, that mouse isn't working. Let's use it. Let me try and have a look at what you guys are saying in the chat. Hi. Okay, let's have a look. Where are you? Here we go. I think this is where I left off. I think so. What? Okay. Okay, since you left Islam, would you consider Messianic Judaism? No. Why don't you put your glasses on? They look great on you. Oh, thank you. I want to wear my glasses. The only thing is there's a bit of a reflection, but actually, do you know what? While I'm reading the comments, it might actually just help me out a bit. Sorry, guys. Yeah, I haven't got great eyesight right now. Mimsy, so will you coach an ex-Muslim who needs a job but can't apply because of death threats? Oh gosh, where are you that you can't apply because of death threats? And absolutely, I mean, that's part of what we do. We coach people to start their own business, to get their own jobs that they want. But even like, sorry, I'll take these off for a minute. Even like finding the job that you want. Sometimes people are like, I don't know what kind of job I want. So what we do is find out what you would really, and that's like a deep dive into like, you know, what it is you really actually want to do, essentially. Because sometimes, yeah, like I said, you don't know what your passion is, so it's just kind of finding that, because it's there inside of you. We just have to bring it out. Okay, are you still friends with Muslims? Yes, I do have some Muslim friends, not as many as I did, obviously, because I had a lot, but there are a few people. Our relationship isn't necessarily the same, but yeah, I still have Muslim friends. But I'm not as close to them, I have to say, just because, you know, it's what's that? Well, I suppose a couple of them I am, but it depends on so many things. Because sometimes it can be tricky, especially if they're always trying to bring you back. It's like they're like, oh, did you hear that, like this amazing verse? I'm like, yeah, I'm good, B. Have you heard anything from Lubna after your video? Yes, I am gonna be doing a video with Lubna soon. She reached out actually, which was very lovely, and I just haven't had the time. It's been really crazy over here. So we will be doing a video very soon, I believe. I don't know when she's gonna upload it, but we're doing it very soon. Which will be fun. So I hope you guys tune in for that. I don't know if it's going to be live, actually. I think she's going to pre-record it and then play it. I think, or then upload it, whatever. Have you heard it? Yeah, sorry, I just read that one. Oh, I didn't put my glasses. It's fine. Yay, one of the world's smartest. Oh my God, you're so cute. Wow. Thank you. Please discuss your experiences of spirituality. Spirituality is a really interesting one. I don't know if I can. Oh, do you mean your okay. What do you mean? I don't know what you mean. So just clarify before I go on a tangent and it's not what you're talking about. Oops, daisies. I'm just going to pin a message that I didn't mean to. Oh, you thought I was going to go on a live stream with Libna tonight? No, but I know, I didn't mean to book at the same time as her. And then I was like, oh no, I want to watch her live stream. But I did see bits of it in the end, actually. But I'll watch it back. But yeah, we're gonna do something together. It's my fault. It's not hers. It's my fault. She reached out and I was like, I'm kind of busy. There's so much going on. Also, I was really sick the other day. Anyway, not that you guys need to know. A question: if you only have two choices and you must choose one, which you choose for society? Oh, Jesus Christ's teachings in the Gospel, or Muhammad's teachings in Sahih Hadith? Oh no! The thing is, I don't know if I could do this justice because I don't know the Gospel that well. So I don't know if I could answer that question properly. That's a tough one. My gut is saying, the only thing is, my gut is saying Christianity, but only because if you look at Christians compared to Muslims, but if we're talking about the books itself, I feel like I can't answer. But if we're talking about like Christians who, like, let's just face it, like they don't follow everything to the T the way that Muslims do, right? So sorry, 1 second. I'll be right back, guys. I just have to get something. Sorry, one sec. Hi. Okay, you guys saw my PJs. Hi. Right, where was I? Now you've left Islam, do you have a new philosophy? If it's like in terms of a religion, then no. Oh, I've got Buddha behind me as well. I just liked that Buddha. I thought he looked really calming and relaxing, and I like to meditate, but I'm not a Buddhist. But if I was to, I was talking to my dad about this the other day, actually. I was like, if anything, because he was like, it's nice for people just to have something. And I was like, yeah, but Abrahamic is so restrictive. If anything, the idea of like Hinduism and Buddhism is more appealing because it's so flexible. It's like, it's not, when I think of a religion, I understood it to be like the way Abrahamic ones are. It's like you follow this, or otherwise you go to hell. Whereas Hinduism and Buddhism are not really like that. They're a lot more like fluid, and they're kind of like, I mean, our friend is an atheist and a Hindu, and that's not conflicting for him. You can be an atheist and a Hindu at the same time. So that kind of stuff is really appealing, but at the same time, I'm not like rushing to label myself as anything. I really am open to like, I do a lot of meditation, and I'm really into the whole like chakras thing and, that kind of vibe. I'm a little bit of a hippie in that sense. I do really enjoy it. But I don't feel like I need to be like, this is my new ideology, if that makes sense. Were you watching your dad's videos when you were still Muslim? Yeah. So if you guys don't know, sorry, I always assume that you guys just know because I've said it online before. But yeah, basically, when my dad started to upload videos and speak openly about what he thought of Islam, I was incredibly embarrassed. And I also was like, I need to get married, and Waleed's family are gonna be like, is this your dad? And maybe no. The thing is, Waleed, by the way, is Pakistani. So I was already, and I'm not Pakistani, so I was already having to like prove myself. And my parents are divorced, which is a big deal for these types of Pakistanis. Maybe not every Pakistani family, but it's. Oh, sorry, I'm moving my leg and shaking it. Stay still. So I felt like I was already on the back foot a bit. So that was one of my concerns. I was like, Waleed and I want to get married, and I feel like, they're just going to be like, nope. And then we're going to have to elope because we're going to get married either way. But I'd really like his family's like approval. So I was so scared about that. So I did make him take them all down. And that was the main thing that he actually took them down at one point. He put them back up later on. But he did take them down at one point because I was like, you're literally going to stop my marriage. Can you take them down? And then he was like, oh, okay, fine. But I also felt like, I remember commenting as well and having, it's so funny because those like haters that comment on ex-Muslim videos, I remember commenting and being like, well, you're supposed to see it in this way, and like Allah has blah 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 blah, like Allah knows best, and I don't even know what I said, I can't remember, but that kind of thing, you know. I was trying really hard also to just bring him back and give him the answers that he needed, because I felt like he was just confused. And because my dad had depression, really bad depression at that time, I just understood him leaving Islam to be down to that, rather than to be this kind of logical explanation that he just didn't agree with Islam. I just kind of, you know, bunged it all together as he's having an emotional mental health breakdown, and this is kind of part of that. So I was kind of also really like, this is leaking out into the public sphere. Can you not embarrass me? Which is so sad as well for my dad. Now, I've apologized a lot to him, so don't worry. But it's so bad because I literally made him feel so bad for doing those videos. And I remember actually sending them to Waleed and being like, can you help me to like bring my dad back to Islam and like help me answer the topics, the questions that he's got? Because also Waleed, even at that time when we were quite young, he was quite knowledgeable about Islam. And I remember him coming back and being like, yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't know what to come back with. And I was like, what do you mean? So I'm like, okay, so we just need more knowledge. And that's actually a big turning point for Waleed and I. We, not just because of my dad, but we both were just people that were very like interested in studying, and we were a bit geeky anyway. So we both were like delving really deep into like finding answers in Islam, understanding Islam. And that was the beginning of the end. Duh, duh, duh. Anyway, sorry. Is your in-law still Muslim? Yes. They are. What do they think of you as an ex-Muslim? They're not happy about it, I'll tell you that. Yeah. To be fair to them, even so, they could have been a lot worse, you know. And I know some stories of just family members being really awful, and they could have been so much worse. I think what's saved us essentially is that they are very cultural Pakistanis, and I think for them culture and religion is kind of the same thing. So it wasn't like, I remember my mother-in-law even saying to me like, oh, there's a whole story, I won't go into it. Basically, I was trying to set up my cousin who's very religious. My family are more religious than their family is or are, because they're not as cultural, whatever. Anyways, so I was trying to set up my religious cousin with a cousin of Waleed's, and I had just found out, I was doing like, you know, there's proper auntie, like, let me find you a husband, don't worry, I'll find you a nice husband, don't worry, it's gonna be very nice. So I was like, oh, Waleed's cousin, and then I found out Waleed's cousin like doesn't pray, and that was a big deal. Like, we prayed 5 times, okay? You do that. That's part of that. That's the whole thing, okay? So I was saying to my mother-in-law, like, he doesn't pray. Like, my cousin's not gonna, like, she needs someone that does salah. Like, what is this? And she was like, oh, don't worry, it's fine. Like, you know, and my husband doesn't pray. And so they definitely have a more relaxed approach about some things. Like, for me, that was a deal breaker. I was like, I need somebody that prays. So yeah, different perspectives for sure, and they did not like it more so, as I said, because it's a cultural thing. It was more so, they even said to Waleed and I, like, you can leave. You don't have to be Muslim, but don't tell the freaking world about it. Can you just shut the hell up? That was what it was about. It wasn't even about us not being religious. It was about us going online and being like, hi, we're ex-Muslim. Hi, guys. We're the ex-Muslims. They were like, beta. So it was a little bit more like that stuff. But to be fair, they've still been like really cool in some ways. You know, we're not gonna go into the deep too much. Oh wow, okay, I've missed so much. Oh, here we go. Will you be voting for the Reform Party? I don't know. Sorry, that's not a very nice answer for you, but I don't know. I need to look more into stuff. Look up Pallywood. What's Pallywood? No idea. I feel like I've been really out of the loop. Do you prefer Feiruz or Kulthum? Oh, Kulthum, definitely. Yeah. Definitely, 100%. I do like Feiruz, but I'm sorry. She's the queen. I like how Israel is an apartheid state because because they don't give Palestinian citizenship. But these same people don't want Palestine to be part of Israel. Okay, I don't know if I'm tired or my brain's not comprehending what that said. I am tired as usual. Hi, don't follow you, but good luck with your future. Oh, thanks. That was really sweet. I love it when people can just give out positive energy like that. Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. I go American all the time. Guys, I try to stop it when I'm online because my friends told me to stop doing it. But I do it all the time. Like me and my sister. Does anyone else do this? Because I've heard that Americans do a British accent. I've known a couple of Americans back in the day that used to do like British accents, like taking the piss. Like me and my sister, we'll literally call them like hello. Yeah. Like annoying Californian accent. At first, Willie used to get really irritated by it, but now he's so used to it, he doesn't even blink. I'm like, oh my God. So basically, we do that all the time. And sometimes it leaks out when I'm on a live stream. So I apologize, but it's just funny. It's because we watch a lot of American TV. I remember one time I was sick and I spent a whole day. This is like when I was a kid. I spent the whole day watching American TV. I don't know what it was. Like I'm a early 2000s kid, so I was watching like Sister and like Kenan and Kel and like Sabrina the Teenage Witch, all that jazz, right? And I was just literally, my siblings came home and I was full American. I was just like, I couldn't even, my accent was gone. I was like, oh my God, guys, basically. And they're like, who are you? Anyways, true story. Mimzy, another ex-Muslim whose name is Yasmina Ali. She is an atheist, but she dated and married a Jew. They have been together and married for 10 years. Amazing. There's a subtle hint to which religion she would probably choose if she had to in the background. Oh yeah, the Buddha. No, I just really think he's cute. I think I got him from like a pound shop, and I'm not a Buddhist in any way. I just kind of liked him. He's our friend. He's cute. We call him Buds. Buds just hangs out. Sorry if that's offensive to some Buddhists. Anyways, I don't know what's happening in the comment section. I don't know. Why didn't you just remain, I think I was going to say, Muslim, but be like a liberal, secular, progressive Muslim? That's a really good question, Solomon. A very good question. So why didn't I just stay as a liberal Muslim? The reason, okay, a lot of people do this. They completely, in fact, I know these are the Muslims that I kind of am friends with as well, because they can be friends with me because they kind of agree with me, but then they don't want to be like, I am not a Muslim. They in moments of pain or moments of difficulty or when somebody dies or, really hardships, they can still feel like they have the ability to turn to Allah in that moment and pray and, do the full-on salah. I mean, I know somebody that like literally was drinking and doing everything, and then she was getting a divorce and she was khalas hijab salah, and then she went back to like forgetting it again. So so I know that people need that for many different reasons, whether it be the cultural community, whether it be the emotional reliance and then the supportive aspect of religion. But I am somebody, I'm very all or nothing. And I think if you're my personality type, that is a really hard thing to do. I feel like when I was religious, it was my number one priority. If anyone doesn't know, I actually really wanted to be an actress, and that was my pathway. And while I was young, I I almost went into Harry Potter. I don't know if anybody knows that story. I think I told it on here before, lol. But I also kind of breaking the sorry, I don't know why I spoke like that. Breaking the rules. I cheekily, as a teenager, joined this like Shakespeare play company thing, and my dad was really easygoing, so he didn't really care. I don't think he thought anything of it, and but my, I was kind of not telling everyone in my family about it, and I was really into acting, and I ended up doing acting GCSE and then acting A level. And when I did acting A level, I put on my hijab again because I was kind of going back and forth with the hijab for a little bit. And when I was doing the acting A level, I tried to be like, well, I could be Muslim in hijab and still act, right? So, but I had to then accommodate my plays because I don't know if anyone's done theatre as an A level, but you do have kind of the creative space to choose your character a little bit more, unless you're doing a fixed play, but we didn't. We kind of we wrote the scripts and everything. So when I was doing that, I like became an Arab man that had a turban, or I became I had to accommodate my hijab into the role that I was playing, which didn't give me a lot of flexibility. And I very quickly realized as well that I still probably was breaking rules. And I was so sad because actually I, got invited to be a part of, I basically could have gone down I could have been in Hollywood, guys. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. I think I was going down more the theatre route anyway. But yeah, I mean, I could have been on a whole different path, but I chose to not go down that path because I felt like I'm doing a disservice to my religion. And the truth is, I don't think Islam has a space for women to be actresses. So I chose not to go down that path. And that was a really painful thing for me to let go of, because I was like, this is such a big passion of mine. And I really enjoyed it. And the stage just felt so fun for me. And it was just, it was such a creative space. And like, I was that person that could just, anyway, blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to go into it. But anyway, I am that person that I have to do justice by what I stand by. And I can't hide. Like, I feel like I'm someone that just can't lie. Like if also my friends laugh about this as well, because, and my siblings so much, because it's so true. Like, I can't fake a reaction. I'm just so like, even though I'm an actress, but if I'm a different character, it's different. But if I'm me and I'm not playing a character, I can't lie. Like, I can't just be like, you know what I mean? I can't just be like, oh, anyway, I'm going off the point, but you get it. I can't just be like, oh, I'm going to do this religion and follow this religion and be a Muslim and then do haram. I just can't do that. And I think a liberal Muslim is just lying to yourself. Honestly, that's my perspective on it. You can do it if it makes you feel better, but I wouldn't be able to sleep at night because I'm like, I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing. Sorry, that was a really long-winded answer to that, but basically I can't do it. Having a separate discussion. What is this noise? What is happening here? Sorry. I don't know. I don't even know what that noise is, but sorry about it. Anywho. Where was I? Oh, okay. Right. How did you feel brave? Oh, sorry. Did I miss a question? Oh, sorry. I have missed a question. Hey there, Mimsy. How are you? I'm really good, thank you. How are you? Did you ever use the killing one person as the killing all of humanity? Yeah, of course. Yeah, all the good lines. Also the line, oh shoot, what's the amazing epic line? What the hell is that noise? Sorry, my laptop is making weird noises. This is why you shouldn't keep like a bunch of windows open at the same freaking time, which my husband loves to do. I can't do stuff like this, right? I think it's this. Let's close all these bloody windows. Who can function with like 500 windows open? Tell me who. My husband. How do I can't even go. Oh Lord. Oh my God, I have to stop doing that. I've started to do this thing where I go, oh Lord Jesus. And all the Christians are going to be annoyed at me, but I sometimes say it in really inappropriate settings, so I need to stop doing it. Okay, what was I saying? Oh yeah, the line. There was a really good line in Islam and in the Quran that people love to use. It's something about you can, oh my God, my brain's too tired for this. What time is it? It's only 10. I've forgotten it. It's something about like you can basically do what you want. There's no, oh, I'm close to it. There's no, not obligation in Islam, but there's no something, you know, somebody out there knows, somebody, I can't remember the word. Anyway, but yes, I did used to use that. Did you get a chance to see the Richard Dawkins? Yes. Oh, I thought you were asking me, have I ever met Richard Dawkins? I have met Richard Dawkins and he's so cute. I love him. But no, I haven't seen that debate. I need to see it. Oh my God. But Richard Dawkins was at the last ex-Muslim event. He was like, everybody was like, hi. Such a celebrity. Me and Willie took a picture with him. We're like, we're such dorks. Anyway, how do you feel brave enough to come out as an ex-Muslim? I find it really hard. The only people I've told it to are some of my closest friends, and I regret that so much. Oh, that makes me feel really sad that you regret it. Is it because they're Muslim and they're quite judgy? I remember feeling like that as well, actually. I do remember feeling like maybe it would have been easier to keep quiet. But, you know, that whole thing about living this lie as well, because if your friends are like that, I don't feel like that now because I'm surrounded by people that accept me for who I am. So I would say you need to think about who you're surrounding yourself with. And if those people are judging you because of your views, then I'm sorry, they're not it, girl or boy. I don't know what you are. Or we're not going to get into that. And then he watched the videos and left Islam. Wait, who? Did I miss something? Who was I talking about? I don't know what that's referring to. Went to the bottom. Haram Potter. Okay, yeah, you know what? Let me go down because you guys are talking about what I've just spoken about. And now I'm going too far. Okay, no. I feel bad. I don't want to miss your questions. I'll go back up. Hi, welcome to my live stream. Oh dear. You know what, guys? It's an hour in, and I haven't even told you guys the main things, like why I left Islam, because everybody wants to know that. Do you guys want to hear that? Because I did get a lot of questions, and I've just always referred to like watch my 40-minute video. But I wonder if I could like speed answer that, because I thought, you know what, let me answer it, but like in a really condensed way, which I don't know if I can do. I'm actually just laughing at the fact that I thought I could do it in a condensed way, but let's see, maybe. Okay, Valley Girl. Yes, Valley Girl, exactly. Yeah. Like I grew up with like Lizzie McGuire and stuff. Love those shows. Oh my God. I love chakra meditation. Yes. Me too. Many Sufis in India do a lot of chakra meditation. Can you describe what it's like? I thought you'd like you. Oh, you're saying you thought I'd like it. Is that what you meant to say there? Yeah. I mean, honestly, just look it up, guys. Just start meditating. It's really just being able to, you know what? I am not as knowledgeable on it as actually the chakra meditation. I do a lot of mindfulness meditation, but my really close friend, who I'm mentioning a lot in this live stream, so he'll be ecstatic. But Jimmy is somebody that is really, really into this stuff. So I will get him on at some point, and he can just unleash. Next time I'm at his house, because we're actually going soon, so we'll go again to his place. So when we go, I'll get him to talk about it with you guys. We'll do another live stream, and we'll talk about like spiritual stuff, because obviously you guys are like into it. What's your favorite comedy program? Ooh. I mean, it has to be Friends, guys. I'll be there for you. Sorry, I just had to. Sorry, my bad. I'm really cheesy, guys. So if you don't like it, you can leave. Goodbye. Friends, come on. I actually haven't seen Friends since Matthew Perry, which I'm really sad about. I know too much information about the actors as well in Friends. I know too much. Also, I could literally, the things that I love, this is why I'm an all or nothing person, okay? Because the things that I love, I like love. Like I love Friends so much. I could probably like quote some scenes from like the various my favorite episodes. And I'm the same with like my favorite movies. Like one of my favorite movies, I'm like outing myself so much here, but my favorite movies are proper like, don't judge me, guys. They're like proper cheesy girly films, okay? But that's like how I am. One of them is like Legally Blonde, for example. Do you know what it is? It's nostalgic. Okay. When I grew up, I probably liked like deeper, like more intellectual, psychological, like, adult films. But those films from my childhood are so much like, they're so much cuter for me because it's like when I was a kid, I loved it so much. So, but yeah, my sister literally couldn't even watch the movie with me because she was like, stop saying every word. I like say the line as they're saying it. She was like, I'm not watching this with you. You're so annoying. I was like, what? I love that movie. Anyways, everyone leave Islam. It's just very common sense. What's interesting is people leave for emotional reasons, but they really stay for emotional reasons. And there's so much more to back that up. So yeah, now. No such thing as a liberal Muslim, exactly. Don't you watch Candace with Lubna? Yes. Oh, you're talking to someone else. Oh, sorry, my bad. Okay. Haram Potter. Yeah, I already read that one. Okay, cool. Okay, let me just scroll down a bit more. Sorry if I've missed you guys. If I've missed something, just excuse me. Just write it again. Where are we? How did you get out of the emotions of fear that the religion imposed on you and think critically for yourself? Another really good question. It was a process. It's not something that happens overnight for sure. It's a process. And I think the biggest thing for me was, and again, it's kind of, every character is different. And because I'm someone that's all or nothing, it definitely took me, and I think a lot of people would resonate with this anyway. It took me to like scour through everything. I didn't just leave Islam just because I was like, oh, it wasn't something that was like a very quick decision. It was something that took me, it was over years of like really analyzing, going back, like, okay, let me just, this verse or the sex slaves or the things that I actually have written down so that I could do my brief overview. Those things, is there another way of interpreting it? Is there another way that this could be looked at? Is there someone else that has a perspective that makes sense? Like, it's just going over it and over it and over it and over it and over it till I get to the point where I'm like, there's no other explanation for this. But also, when you deep dive into Islam, you see the things you disagree with, you end up finding even more. Like, it's just like, it's Pandora's box, literally. You're just like, oh my, hold on, I'm not centered. There you go. Okay. I didn't sort anything out in the background. Anyway, so yeah, it's just a Pandora's box, basically. You're like, oh, this doesn't make sense. This doesn't make sense. This doesn't make sense. Nothing makes sense. And then you're like, yeah, I can't do it. I love Legally Blonde. Yes. Donna stamp your last season Prada shoes on me, honey. They're not last season. He's gay. Anyways. There's no compulsion. Whoever said that? Who is it that said that? I love you. Compulsion. Someone else said it. Compulsion. Oh my god, you guys said it. Yes, I love you guys. You guys are the best. You guys are actually the best. Thank you. Thank you. There's no compulsion in Islam. That means you can do whatever you want to do, guys. Did you know that one tiny little verse is taken out of context? But anyway, don't take anything else out of context. Like, you can kill whoever you see, but that one can be taken out of context. Woohoo! Love it. Love it. Thank you guys for saying that. Sorry if I saw it a bit late. You guys are awesome. I'm just kind of like scrolling everywhere right now. Just I don't know. I don't know what's happening. How did you get out of the... Oh, I already read that. Okay. I'm not very good at this live stream, guys, but thanks for hanging out with me. My first, oh, sorry, let me read this one first. Yes, they are very judgy, but they are still nice to me as friends. I'm not very outgoing, so it's hard for me to make friends, especially ex-Muslim ones. I'm a hijabi, so everyone assumes I'm Muslim. Oh, wow, that's even harder, especially when you're Muslim. I feel like people assume I'm Muslim even without hijab, and I'm a bit like, can you just not assume? Can you just like, it's just a bit frustrating. I remember once I was having some pork, which, oh my God, don't be too shocked. But anyway, I was having some pork sausages, and this person came up to me and was like, oh, you naughty, naughty Muslim. And I was like, can you not assume, please? But yeah, anyways, what was I going to say? Yes, and I totally get that. You essentially, you don't, this concept, and I get, maybe it came across that I'm kind of like, just start your life again from scratch. It's again, like I said with the other thing, it is a process. So you're not necessarily going to be like, bye guys, and then just find some other friends. It doesn't always happen. It didn't even happen that way for me. So sorry if I didn't explain that a bit more. But basically, eventually you want to be able to seek out people in your life. And I think there has to be, obviously, whether you're kind of a little bit more introverted or whatever, but you will most likely come across other people, especially if you're on the online space. I would say make a little bit of effort to actually meet people that are a bit more aligned. Even if you maintain those friendships, having people that get you, like what I was talking about right at the beginning of this live stream, is having people that get you is so important for your like sanity, because you can like breathe. You're like, okay, people like hear me and understand me and I make sense. Because community and people is a vital thing, which again, doing a whole coming back round again to the other thing about being a liberal Muslim, is why I think a lot of people stay in the religion, because they don't want to lose that. But I do think that you can find that that feeling, that community. You just have to actively seek it. And yeah, you don't have to be like, bye guys, but at the same time you can kind of maybe have some more boundaries, maybe not talk about certain things with them that will just end up being a painful discussion. But yeah, I get that I'm not saying that they're horrible people. And that's the hardship with family as well, because they can often be like really loving and nice. They're like, we love you, we're doing all this for you. You just have to be a Muslim. That's all we're asking. And you're like, oh, well, they are really nice to me and they do take really good care of me. Which, by the way, that actually is a big topic that I talk about in my webinar. So if you guys haven't signed up for my webinar, please sign up for my webinar ASAP. It's literally next Wednesday. I talk about like toxic families and all the different issues that kind of might arise. We talk about the main common ones, but we do talk about really like emotional, emotional manipulation is a really big one. So emotional blackmail, love bombing, gaslighting, and then there's like the communication stuff, how families actually communicate things, and lots and lots of different things that come up for a lot of us in our families, and basically how to actually overcome those issues, and the importance of creating your new identity. So that really just means actually, how do I be the person I want to be? And I've come from this. I've come from all of this. How do I still do justice and be authentic? Be authentically myself, even though I've come from this very controlling background, or sometimes very neglectful background. So that's very much what my webinar is about. And I will talk a little bit more about what Wayne Coaching do as well. So definitely come along for that. Yeah, I will. Do you know what? I'll put the link here actually, so that you guys can just sign up. Let me just go find the link 1 second. Okay, maybe I don't know how to get the link. Okay, no, I do. Oh, here we go. Oh, see, I can do things. I hope this is it. Imagine it's not. I'm just like, here's a link, guys. And then it's like something else. I'm pretty sure this is it. You know what? Maybe I should check. Oh, my. I've got some freshy Bollywood song in my head right now that I was just about to burst out singing to you guys. Oh, my darling, I love you. Who knows that song? If anyone knows that song, you're a real Asian. I'm joking. I'm not even Asian. Yeah, this is it. I know what I'm doing, guys. I know what I'm doing. Oh, my darling, I love you. Okay. Here we go. Right, that is the link, guys, to sign up. That's the link to sign up for my webinar. This is the first time I've seen you. No way. Am I Moroccan? Yeah. So I'm Moroccan, Egyptian, and English. Hi, nice to meet you. Do we have to pay in Mimsy coin? The webinar's free, guys. Free webinar. But for the coaching, it's not free. What we give is way too valuable. No, I'm joking. But I have, if you come to the webinar, you get, I'm going to give away a little secret here, but we give a massive discount because you're coming through MimzyVidz, and I always treasure my MimzyVidz crew. So if you do choose, I mean, to be honest with you, you could walk away from the webinar and just take what I give you in that webinar, and you don't have to do anything else. But if you wanted to, we do give a discount as well. Are you into astrology? I'm not, but I kind of want to be, just because it's kind of funny. It's kind of like, are you into astrology? I don't know. I can't really get into it, but I find it really intriguing when people are like, this is like my horoscope and I'm this and I'm that. And I'm like, oh, okay. I don't know what any of this means. And I kind of feel like they're so general, aren't they? Like sometimes people will be like, oh, because I'm an Aquarius. And so people are like, oh, okay, that makes sense. And I'm like, what does that mean? What do you mean? Anyway. Compulsion. Oh, I think that person's like a step behind. You're watching like what's happened before. Okay. Cool. So just give me 5 more minutes. I just need to Aquarius are visionary. Ooh, you know what? I'll take it. I will take it. Tell me more about Aquariuses. Is that how you say it? And I'll be right back. I just need to get something else. Sorry, 1 second. Sorry. Sorry, guys. Hi, I'm back. I'm Pisces. Excuse me. Okay. So it's been an hour. I'm gonna go soon. Although I love chatting to you guys. I always get carried away. I just have so much fun. I've written notes. Okay, so let me see if I can speed through. I'm laughing just as I'm saying this. I don't know if I can. Let me speed through why I left Islam. I'm joking. Why I left Islam. So sometimes I go Australian as well. Right. What did I even write here? I just wrote some random stuff. Okay. I think I know what I said. So, okay, the biggest thing for me was the stories of the prophets. Okay, the prophet mainly, but just the random ass stories of the prophet. So, I spoke about how I've mentioned all these before, but the Prophet Muhammad, the wife Sophia, how he killed her husband, dad, and brother, and it was a war situation. I think they were actually a Jewish tribe as well, and that was always glorified as like, look, he even married a Jew, even a Jew, which I thought was funny. So anyway, the Prophet Muhammad married Sophia, and he consummated the marriage that night. So and that was quite a big deal, because even his companion, I can't remember which companion it is it Abu Bakr? Does anyone know? One of his companions was really concerned that he had done that. So they were sleeping together in the tent, and he was actually going around the tent. So this is all hadith sahih. He was going around the tent because he was so scared that somebody was going to attack him for doing that. So even for them, that was quite a big deal to just, on the night of the war, just sleep with this woman, like marry her and sleep with her, which in my view, I think I was like, how is this consensual? And so that really changes the vision that you have of your prophet, because I'm like, this is actually quite gruesome, and I can't imagine this woman. I actually asked my mum this question, and she was like, yeah, well, she just fell in love with the prophet. Like, she just loved him so much, and she just loved like Islam, and she was happy to become a Muslim. Like, she was like, yeah, let's do it. Which actually, she didn't actually become Muslim. She stayed Jewish, but maybe later on. But at that point, she was still Jewish. As far as I know, she didn't do shahada. So, but anyway, that was my mum, who is still Muslim, her explanation of that. And I was like, that's weird. I'm sorry, but there's no way that this woman's like, thank you so much for killing my whole family. Let's have sex. Like, there's just no way that happened. So, hi, welcome to the show. Sorry, I laugh so that I don't, get too emotional about it. Sometimes I have to stop myself when I'm on a live stream. So that was a big story that really was like, as well as, since we're on that kind of topic, as well as the sex slaves. And there was a big story that I delved into about Maria. Does anyone know the story about Maria, the Christian, but she wasn't a wife. She wasn't, she didn't get to that level. She was exactly Maria the Coptic. Yeah. So she basically was one of his sex slaves. And if anyone knows the story, I actually talk about it again in my Why I Left Islam video. But basically, he really wanted to have sex that night, and his wife Hafsa, who he was supposed to be with that night, because he took every night he was like with a different wife essentially, and it was the night that he got to sleep with Hafsa, and Hafsa was like, listen, my mom's sick, I can't do today, like, let's take a rain check, whatever. I don't know if that's what she said, but anyway, she couldn't sleep with him, right? So he was still like, okay, well, I need to sleep with somebody, so I'm just gonna call my chick Maria. I don't know why I always say it in this way, but this is just how I tell stories. I always make it out as if it's like, I don't know, like they're in their crib and they're like, yo, do you want to come over? But it kind of, in my mind, I'm trying to see it in like real terms, like not as just this like historic story, but he's a real man that did this. So I like understand it that way. That's how my brain conceptualizes it as well. It's like he literally did that. He just goes, okay, I'm going to call this woman over, and they slept together in Hafsa's bed, and Hafsa found them basically together and was really upset with him that he had done that. And that was a whole story. That's a very controversial story. And I think that's even more controversial about what happened next, because that's a horrible thing for him to do, and definitely not, the perfect man thing to do. But also the fact that that story kind of got manipulated. So if you see the original older versions, all the older versions say that. But then the more recent versions or the later versions change that story to actually be that she was upset that the prophet had eaten some honey, and she really doesn't like honey, and she told him to never eat honey again. But that's not true. I mean, there's no way that happened, because it doesn't even make sense, because the way that Hafsa was described as being so upset that he said he was trying to be like, okay, you know what? I'll make her haram for me. I'll never sleep with her again. Very dramatic. I'll never sleep with her again. And the modern version is like, I'll never eat honey again, which is like, okay. But anyway, and then what happened was a verse came out. And this is really interesting, because the concept of like how verses actually come out, like a verse from Allah, the next day he's like, God damn it. Like, now I can't sleep with all these sex slaves. What the hell am I going to do? The next verse, Allah's like, guess what, Muhammad? You're not allowed to make rules. You are definitely allowed to sleep with anyone you want to sleep with. Okay? Just to let you know, you can definitely still sleep with those sex slaves. So don't you can't control what's haram and what's halal or whatever. And he was like, oh, guys, like, this isn't even me. I'm the good guy. I didn't want to sleep with her, but I have to. Guys, this is like, the verse came, I have to sleep with them, okay? I'm just kidding. I'm obviously dramatizing it. But essentially, he basically said, I can't say what's haram and what's halal. If I want to sleep with these sex slaves, I can. So, yeah. What was the name of the Jewish wife? Sophia. Look up Sophia. The tribe. The tribe, the war, the whole sitch. Look it up. Okay, we are kind of blasting through it as quickly as we can. So those stories came up, and when I was doing my research, I didn't know those stories as a religious Muslim. I didn't really know them. I was kind of like, what the, so that was a really big question mark. But then also the concept of war was a big thing for me, like how they actually went to war, how they killed so many people. In my mind, the Prophet Muhammad was this really peaceful, like lovely, cuddly teddy bear that never like hurt people. And like I used to know, and I talked about this even in that video, that I used to know him as somebody that would never keep money to himself. Like he'd always give money to the poor, and he was all about caring for others. And he definitely was like that at maybe one stage of his life when he was like recruiting people. But there was this whole other stage of his life where he was so brutal and so like just horrible. And I just can't align with that. I can't align with the amount of death and torture that he put onto people. And a big example of that is Banu Qurayza. If anyone doesn't know the Banu Qurayza story, it's basically where he went to a tribe, and it's tricky because it wasn't exactly from the Prophet's mouth, but he kind of gave authority to somebody else to basically slaughter all the men. And these men were supposedly going to be treacherous and supposedly were going to be too dangerous to be kept alive. So including children. So they would literally see if the young boys had pubic hair, and if they had pubic hair, their throats were slit, and they had built a huge what's the word where you build like a massive hole? What's the word? Do you know what I'm? Trench, a huge trench. And he basically just had, it was like almost 1,000 bodies. Like I think it was about 800 bodies, just men just slaughtered, and then all of the women were taken as slaves. So they just annihilated this whole tribe on the basis that they were potentially apparently going to be dangerous to them, including like children. Do you know what I mean? Like as young as like 12 years old, if not younger, 10 years old. Do you know what I mean? Like, so I was like, that's brutal. That's really, really brutal. So stories like that don't show the Prophet in like a beautiful, amazing light, they definitely weren't the headlines when you're growing up. They for sure were not the like main stories that we were always told. In fact, I feel like we were told the same nice stories over and over again. We were like, oh yeah, we've heard this one before. Like it was just the same nice stories. So the bad stories, you're like, what? Is this okay? Is this okay to be done? So that was a big thing. Also, there's about the trading of slaves. So even just this concept that you can trade these women like their property. So not only do you take them as slaves and sleep with them, which I think is again rape, but also that you could trade them. So he literally took women and traded them. And there's a Sahih hadith about him taking slaves and selling them, and the men really wanted to sleep with them because they're like, look, I haven't seen my wife in ages, we've got these women here, are you sure we can't just do the pull out, because I don't want to get them pregnant? Because the one thing the Prophet Muhammad did do is he said, if you impregnated a slave, that slave would be your child and your responsibility, whereas before it might have just been like another slave that you just ignored. So that's supposed to be a really nice thing. So like if you rape somebody, take care of their kid, great. Okay, well, I mean, maybe don't rape them. Sorry, there's lots of stuff going on in the chat. Let me whiz through this and then we'll go through the chat again. The Sharia laws was another thing. So the whipping, the stoning. The whipping is in the Quran, stoning is in the Quran, the Hadith. I started to really evaluate that a little bit more as a grown adult, and thinking about how to structure a society, and thinking about Sharia as being the best way to structure a society for all time. Okay, that's what it's supposed to be. So the people that are liberal and say, well, it was for that time, it's supposed to be for all time. No matter what you say, there's a lot of evidence to show that the leaders of Islam, the Prophet Muhammad, meant this to be for all time. So you're going against that if you believe that, which I believe is not what it was meant to be. So that was a big problem for me, because I don't believe that you should structure society in that violent way. There should be no, I mean, prison is great. You know, I'm all about prison. But if we tortured people as a punishment, it's so barbaric. And it's so, it also made me realize how this religion is so man-made. Like, it clearly isn't from this God who is above all time. It's so like ingrained in that time and that mind frame and that understanding of the world. Even the scientific miracles, excuse me, everything that they knew was like what the ancient Greeks had already known. It was already known. I didn't know that either. I thought like it must be true because Islam was the first one to say it. They weren't the first people to say it. And do you think ancient Greeks are getting messages from God? No. So that was a big thing. Yeah, the whole black magic stuff was a big thing as well, because I had lots of like, my mum is really into the black magic stuff, to be honest with you, which is a whole other topic, guys. But that was a really like kind of crazy place I went to when I read all the crazy things that Prophet Muhammad did and said, which are like clearly not true. And like, didn't he say like if you eat 3 dates or whatever, like you I don't know, something, you'll feel better from whatever you have, and then he like died, and I don't even know. But basically he's it's just not, it was just a bit ridiculous. But I think the bigger picture, after all this sort of nitpicking, all these stories and all this stuff, the bigger picture for me was actually the concept, and this is what I think was the final thing. I think somebody asked me as well, what was the catalyst? I like that word. The final thing for me was the concept of heaven and hell. That concept is actually kind of stupid. Like, if you think about like all the especially if you study psychology and you understand the intricacies of how our brain works and how much free will we actually have, it's not very much, if anything. I don't think we do really have free will. We function on the basis of our genes, you know, our biology, and also the environment that we've been brought up in. It plays such a huge part on the decisions that we make. So to be judged on that, and not only judged on that, but to have eternal judgment, like torturous burning, your skin burning. Also, it kind of sounds to me like a medieval punishment, like the way that it's like spikes and like, you know, fire and all this jazz. So I was like, sorry, my nose, I've got hay fever again. Sorry about that. But anyway, yeah, so all that stuff just kind of starts to be really ridiculous. And even the concept of heaven started to be a bit like, it sounded like it would be like a man from that time's dream. It's like, you're going to get all these like amazing white women. Wow, they're going to be so hot. Like, maybe that's what a lot of people want. But I was also like, why are they white? That's kind of racist. But yeah, they were like, you know, you're going to get all these women. You're going to have like rivers of wine, rivers of milk. I don't know who wants a river of milk, to be fair. You know, silk and like all the stuff that was like amazing to them at that time. They're like, oh my God, milk. So yeah, it's a bit like, come on. It just started to feel like really made up. And then that's when it kind of collapsed. But also, who knows about this? Because I definitely didn't know about this as a Muslim. But who knows that the concept of hellfire. So in Judaism, okay, let's start again. If you think about the Abrahamic religions, right, the order is Judaism, Christianity, then Islam. In Judaism, they don't have a concept of hellfire. They, you know, I don't know exactly the words that they use for it, but they kind of do. They have this like eternal place that you go to, but this concept of hellfire and being burned and tortured for your sins, that doesn't exist. But there was a real place during the pagan era, sort of after Judaism, that they actually call Yehenum, okay? And Yehenum was this place that like, basically they would do pagan rituals, and they would, you know, pagans, especially back then, were like doing crazy shit. Like they were like burning babies and like, you know, like rituals, what they called, I don't know, but anyway, crazy rituals where they would do things like sacrifices, animals, and just like do these weird things in that fire and like dance around it, hula balala, I don't even know, okay? So they go around this fire, and that fire was known as the Yehenum, or Yehen, I'm not pronouncing it properly, I don't think, but basically it sounds a lot like Jahannam, okay? So very, very similar word. So that fire then so it started to be really smelly because obviously they burnt bodies literally, and it was a very smelly place. So what they ended up doing was keeping the fire burning. So it was like a continuous fire that they kept alive because it would keep the smell from like coming into like, you know, the nice parts. So that fire was a continuous thing. And then when the Christians were, sorry, before the Christians, I think, but around that time, right before, they started to actually use it as a place of punishment for the criminals. So they were like, okay, there's this fire, great, we'll just use that. So if there were criminals, like, you know, any kind of thieves or anyone, that was just what they would do. They would just chuck them in this fire. And so that fire became known. So this is like real life, guys. This is like in the real world, like not made up fantasy. In the real world, there was this fire that was known for punishment of bad people. So then Christianity comes along and is like, by the way, if you're bad, you go to this fire that's like a pit fire, you know, just continuous burning and torturous and all this jazz. So then I was like, oh my God, you can literally see how this concept came about. Like and then that really was like a big thing for me as well. One of the big things, because I was like, you can literally see how somebody just made this up based on actual things that happened. So that was insane. Oh hi, have I got some Jews here that are kind of, hold on, I've missed a bunch of stuff. Oh, Greeks got messages from Zeus. I like that. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, okay, cool. They did the same thing. Villagers with corpses on the side of the road with pants down their legs to check for pubic hairs. Oh God. Yeah. I am proud of you. I'm proud of you. You said you're ex-Muslim too. Here we are. We're in the boat. Your mum is into magic. Yeah, literally. Not Harry Potter style magic. This magic is something else, guys. Guys, OMG. I feel like I'm just chatting to my friends. This is so fun. My mum is really into black magic. She thinks I've left Islam and my dad's left Islam because of magic, what we call sihr, which my mum is Moroccan, so Moroccans love a bit of sihr. I'm not gonna lie. But anyways, so she thinks like I have a jinn because she got this like whole sheikh to like do ruqya, which is like exorcism. And I've had a bunch of them before. It's really bizarre. Oh my God, I've had the weirdest things happen to me. I should do a whole video on the fucked up stuff that's happened, like because of these sheikhs, because of the trying to exercise me. So I had it. So basically, it's a long story, but I'd go over to visit my mom, and then she'd like be like, "Oh, this sheikh's just here," and the sheikh would be like, "Assalamu alaikum. Let me just, and then just start doing it." And I was like, okay, this is weird. But honestly, the crazy stories I could tell you guys are not even ready. You're not ready for the crazy stories. I'm gonna have to do another video on that. But what was I was gonna tell you something. Oh yeah, I recorded one of them. So he didn't do ruqya, but I just had a chat with him, and I literally was like, this is during my MimzyVidz era. So I was like, also he was saying information as if he like got it from like some mystical realm. And I was like, I'm pretty sure I said it on my video. So that means he watched my videos. It was so funny. Anyway, I recorded it on my phone. I literally was just like, had my phone like this, and I was just like casually recording him. And I don't know what I want to do with that footage, but I have to obviously blur his face. But I really want to like get it out there because it's just so insane. Like the stuff he says is insane. Oh, guys, guys, there's so much honestly that I plan to do and haven't got around to doing with that whole black magic stuff. I really wanted to do like a whole series on like the craziness. This is like a whole other part of Islam that I don't even think people really know about, and the abuse. Like my mom is a very vulnerable person, I feel like, and I think these sheikhs, I know these sheikhs like fully take advantage of her vulnerability. And you know, Islam is a crutch to her, so this explanation is a crutch to her. It's just insane. And the money that they take money, by the way, so it's like a real like crazy shit that happens in for many Muslims. Okay, I need to wrap this up because it's been like 100 years. So anyway, I feel like people were asking, you know what, that kind of sums it up. I'm not going to talk anymore about why I left Islam. You guys get the point. Those are big things for me, okay? So we can close that off now. I was like, how am I going to sum up a 40-minute video? But I think I managed to do it. I think that was okay. It was like half an hour. That was okay. Oh, wait, that's like the same. God damn it. There's like 10 minutes left. I tried. Night. Oh, are you going? Hold on. I just wanted to read what you said and then I'm going to go. Yes. Oh my God. Also, I kind of love you for like knowing me. She's a new mom. This is like 2 a.m. I remember the days where I used to stay up till like 3 a.m. and that was nothing for me. Well, because I could sleep in, I guess. But you literally, my kids wake up at 5 a.m. 5. Sometimes 5:36. But especially if they've slept on time, they wake up at 5. There's that really funny clip that I had on my Instagram from Madagascar. It's like, wake up. Anyway, if you're on my Instagram, you would have seen it. But if you're not cool. Go on my Instagram. I just want to see what you guys are saying, and then I'm going to go. I just don't want to leave you guys hanging. Abu Huraira, oh, I love this, narrated that the Messenger of Allah وسلم, said, use this black seed, for indeed it contains a cure for every disease. Thank you. Yes. Except as Sam, and as Sam is death. Oh, I don't know what that last bit means. So I'm missing something. But that's funny. Yeah, black seed. Black seed oil is actually really good for you. Habba soda. I like a bit of. I still sometimes take. I still have it. Like I still take it. But this concept of it being like the all curing is quite funny. Also, like drink a bit of camel urine and then like that will really help you in your life. Don't do it. It's called the Valley of it's not Gehenna though, isn't it? It's with a yeah. Thank you for that, Francis. Francis, are you French? Wait, is that how do French people say Francis? I have no idea. When he cut the moon in half, guessing it was an eclipse, just guessing. Yeah, those things are jokes, aren't they? And then everything just starts to feel ridiculous. When you see some ridiculous stuff, then you look at other stuff and you're like, this is all a joke. Like, there's no way this stuff is true. And I feel pranked that people believe in this. I honestly do. I feel like, wow, how can you sit with knowing that he, slept with those sex slaves and like did all that stuff? Excuse me. How can you sit with that and still like love him? And you're supposed to love him more than your parents, which I don't know how you're supposed to do that. Seriously, marrying kids was done by Westerners too then. Oh yeah, sure. It doesn't make it okay. That's the thing is it's one thing being like Henry VIII, but if you're like, this is the perfect man ever in the whole universe, nobody is better than him. He is the example that you should follow to get to heaven. Then maybe he shouldn't be marrying a kid, Gin and tonic. Oh my God, gin and tonic. Do you remember are they still around? I remember Gin and Tonic. That was like was it a podcast or like they did like live streams? I remember them. They were quite funny. Oh la 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 la. Okay, I should probably go, but I'm enjoying this too much. Pretty much like that. Francis. Is it Francis? No, I'm just like adding I'm making it more Frenchy. Okay, I need to go. Oh, Francois. For female. No, I don't know. All right, guys. Listen, I need to go, but it's been great talking to you. Oh, it's still a podcast, but with different hosts. Okay. It's been lovely speaking to you. Absolutely lovely. And let's catch up again. I never know how to end these things. So see you later. No, but let's read that. It's all in capitals. Muhammad started off being married to Cougar. That was because he was a caring person. Yeah, he was really caring. When he had no money and she happened to be a businesswoman, then he suddenly was like, hey, want to invest in me? And then after that, he was like, it's better to marry a virgin, actually. Yikes. Anyways, he actually said that, FYI, if anyone was wondering. If I just made that up, he did say it's better to marry a virgin. Anyway, yeah, it's been great. Have a good night. This has been really long. This is the longest one I've ever done, but you guys asked for it. But also, let me know what other kind of live streams you want me to do. I think live streams is just easier for me rather than like editing anything. So let me know what you'd like to do. If you'd like to come to my webinar, I will paste it again. I think we've called it something else, but it's essentially about sort of toxic relationships that you have in your life, usually with your family, the people you've grown up with, the people that influence you, that sort of thing. Come to our webinar and I'd love to see you there. Yeah, all right, I'm going to go. What is a webinar? A webinar is kind of like a live stream, but a very exclusive. It's not on the internet. You know, it's just us. Whoever signs up for it, it's not kind of anyone can just come along. So we try to keep it to, you know, because we're talking about quite personal things. So we try to keep it exclusive, let's just say. But yeah, anyway, also, I don't know if Apostate Aladdin's going to see this, but I did answer his question. I really appreciate his question. He also asked, oh my God, I totally forgot. Apostate Aladdin also asked if I would come on his channel. And I don't know why he asked me on there, but I thought I'd answer on my live stream, seeing as that's what he asked. But of course, Habibi, I will come. Don't worry, I'll come on your live stream, your channel. Sorry, I don't know why I did that accent. Yeah, but yeah, definitely. I love Apostate Aladdin. He's great. And I'm going to be seeing him soon as well, which I'm so excited. We're going to be at Norway, so if anybody is happening to be happening, I can't even speak. And anybody happening to be coming, if anyone's coming to Norway or wants to know about the ex-Muslim event, please come along. I'll send you a link for it. Please come along to Norway. We'll be speaking there. I'm actually hosting it. She asked, Miriam, who runs it, Miriam Namazi, she asked me a few times to host it, and I'm always like, I don't know. I have kid. I only had kid back then, and I was pregnant, so I was like, I don't know. But this time I was like, you know what? I'ma just do it. So here I am. I'll be hosting it. Not hosting it, but like, like coming up next, guys. What's that called? MCing. That's the word for it. Anyways, what else was I going to say? Yeah, so definitely. Also, my son saw Apostate Aladdin. I don't know if he'll get to the end of this, but my son saw me watching Apostate Aladdin and he thought it was Spider-Man, and I thought that was really cute. So I will actually tell him when I chat to him, but it was really cute. He thought it was Spider-Man, and I was like, well, he kind of is Spider-Man to the ex-Muslims, okay? He is. So anyways, much love, guys. Mimsy! Hi, Rick. Sorry, you shouted my name, so I had to shout yours. That's just Venom Spider-Man. Yeah. Lots of love. Also, thank you, all those people that stayed here for this entire time. Thank you. You guys are the best. You guys are the OGs. Love you. I can see you there. Thank you. I know you were there the whole time. Love you. Bye. Say bye to Boods. Bye.